Om Agyanatmirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskadyade Satarane. Our philosophy is actually quite simple. That everyone only is looking for three things. Does anyone know what three things everyone's looking for? No matter what they're doing.
Happiness.
Yeah, one of them is happiness. How long do we want to have happiness for? Well, at least for a couple of hours. But if it could be forever, so much the better. And how do we get happiness forever? What do we need?
Union with God.
Love and light.
Yes, but how do we get union with God and love and light?
Chanting the names.
But how do we know to chant the names? Of course, chanting the names, yes, but how do we know how to do that?
Because of you.
Not because of me, I just came here. No, we need knowledge. Everyone wants knowledge in the sense that everyone needs some direction in life. And indeed, everyone is getting some direction in life. Everyone is getting some knowledge. That's why they have all these newspapers, radios, televisions, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everyone is telling us what to do. As soon as we're born, what is our first instruction?
Make money.
Wow, I'd like to find out who your parents are.
Financial literacy.
Maybe in New York it might be true. You know? Even as a baby, you can't survive here.
Make money, little money.
As soon as you're born, they check your income. Then they see if you're breathing or not, whether it's worthwhile.
If it's worth saving.
Actually, the first instruction is, ah! That's the response. Because unless they did that, you wouldn't make any money. You wouldn't be breathing. So everyone needs some direction, whether everyone is getting direction from the beginning of life until now. Everyone is telling us, suggesting or telling us, or we look and see how many likes something has, and then we can judge whether or not we would like it too. Now the question is, how can anyone be happy unless they can be happy forever? Is it actually possible to be happy temporarily?
Of course.
Is it? Well, let's put it this way. In the back of our mind, we have a problem, even when we're happy temporarily, unless we're completely intoxicated. The problem is...
Losing that state.
Yes, that's true. Because in the material here, in this platform of consciousness, everything has a beginning and an end. So if you're eating an ice cream cone, I don't know what your favorite might be, say it might be strawberry. Usually it's chocolate, but I say chocolate, we don't say strawberry. So as you're eating the ice cream cone and it's diminishing and going away, you're thinking it's going to go away. How do you feel about that?
Pretty good, because I don't want the ice cream cone to last forever. I want it to be exactly that long, because I'm used to it, and it's fattening, and it's too cold.
What happens if you really like it?
Well, you can enjoy it for me.
Yeah, okay, good. Anyhow, sometimes people are attached to it.
Yeah.
Well, but just like I gave an example the other day, just like if we're flying in an airplane and there's a very good meal and everyone's enjoying and there's a nice movie, but then the pilot makes an announcement. My dear friends, I hope you're having a nice meal. Unfortunately, and the movie's probably pretty good too, we're watching it here. Unfortunately, we're going to crash in around an hour. Don't worry. We have a special dessert for all of you. And besides that, the movie only lasts for an hour and a half, so if you won't, before we crash, please pray that you can come back and see the other 30 minutes. So the fact is, what happening, whether we're enjoying, of course when we're suffering, time goes very slowly. Think of the last time you were on the dentist chair. Every moment seemed like 12 years or more, as tears were flowing down our eyes like rain. So the point is, how is it possible that anyone can be really happy, truly happy, without any anxiety, unless we realize we're eternal? Now, even if we realize we're eternal, we still have to find out how to become eternally happy. And the only way we can become eternally happy is by developing what's called bhakti. Bhakti means not material love, but actual love. Because if we were happy one moment, we turned around and we saw our worst enemy, then our mood would change and we wouldn't be happy. And we looked somewhere else, we found our best friend, we'd be happy again. In other words, unless we can see everyone equally, we can't actually be in the proper mood to be loving. And without being loving, we can't actually be happy. If we're envious, if we're anxiety, fearful, if we're hateful, that's really not the definition of happiness. So the real definition of happiness is loving. But in order to be perpetually loving, we have to find out, first of all, how everyone is related. If we're all eternal, we're going to spend a lot of time together, a lot of time with other living entities who are also eternal. Even your worst enemy is eternal. Hopefully he won't be your enemy forever. That would be rather disappointing. Now, our philosophy is that the source of everything is a person. Just like we all had a father and mother. And our fathers and mothers had a father and mother. And our fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers, and you go all the way back, they're all persons. Therefore, the original grandfather or the original father, he must be a person. Otherwise, how do we all become persons? From rocks come rocks. And from, well, other living entities come other living entities. But generally speaking, from people come people. So the original person must be a person. Otherwise, how do we become persons? Now, if he's the original person, now let's think by definition, for instance, that everyone here has some wealth. A little bit more wealth, less. Everyone has some wealth. I may not have anything else, but this is worth at least 30 cents. I have some wealth. I'm not selling, by the way. Not for 30 cents. And someone here probably has more wealth than I do, I hope. Otherwise, you're not going to get home. And there may be someone in New York who's the wealthiest. And somebody maybe in America who's wealthier than they are. And in this whole world that we're familiar with, there's someone who's the wealthiest. So there's someone even on this planet who's supremely wealthy. And then someone may have some knowledge, someone may be more knowledgeable than they are, but there's someone even on this planet who has more knowledge than everyone else. And the same thing goes for strength, for beauty, for fame, and for renunciation. There's someone supreme in every category. But our definition of supreme person, he's perfect, he has more than everyone else in all the categories. So that's our definition of God, or God in the sense, the source of everything. And there must be someone, even if we believe that there are life in other planets, there must be someone who's supreme. And it might not be us. Probably isn't. In every sphere. But we believe that there's a person who's everyone has come from, the original Father, and by definition, he's the supreme in everything, because everything has come from him. Therefore, if we see some beauty, we're attracted to it because it reminds us of the supreme beautiful person. If we're attracted by some knowledge, it's because the original person is all attractive. He knows everything. And therefore, if you need some advice, he's a good person to ask. Now the question is, first of all, the question is, who are we? Are we this body, or are we something other than the body? Now, if we say we're the body, the question is, which body? Were we the 5-year-old body, or were we the 10-year-old body? Or are we this body now? And what happens when this body gets older? Does it disappear? Did it ever exist? Is it exactly the same? If we say, well, I am the body, and my 5-year-old body was exactly the same as it is now. It just changed. It was the same, it's the same as it is now, but it just changed. So how could something be exactly the same as it was before, but it changed? And when this body changes, are we going to disappear? Throughout all the changes of the body we've gone through so far, have any of us disappeared? Like we walked in here half an hour ago, an hour ago. Have any of us disappeared since then? Now eventually we will leave the body, but the body it's leaving us at every moment, because our bodies are changing at every moment, and therefore it's leaving us. But no one laments about it. We don't take a picture, we see a picture of our little 5-year-old body, we start crying. Oh, that little 5-year-old body has disappeared. Where is it? Let's go and search for it. What happened to my 5-year-old body? And so it says, it's all right, it didn't die. Well, it didn't die, but where is it? Well, it's there now, but this body is changing too. So the final change is called death. But the person, the soul within the body, is exactly the same person. The only thing that's changed is that we're changing our body to get another one. Now we can exist in our spiritual body, and that would be a great advantage, because we wouldn't think we were going to die. And if we realize we're eternal, then one big problem is taken care of. We don't have to worry about old age. We don't have to worry about disease. We don't have to worry about death. And we wouldn't have to worry about whether we take birth again in some body, because we realize we're eternal. No more anxiety. But if we're just not anxiety, that doesn't mean we're happy, because we want love. Now everyone is searching for some loving relationship, someone who's beautiful, someone who's intelligent, someone who's strong, someone who's learned, someone who's renounced, someone who's famous. Everyone's looking to love someone like that. What's that?
I left it famous.
Well, people are attracted by fame or infamy. Just like here in New York, if we say Kamala Harris, it might invoke more love than Donald Trump. Depends where you are or who you are. Or maybe someone who's equally minded. They love everyone. But both of them are famous. If we say, George Levinson, it doesn't evoke one, because whoever he is, he's not so famous. So everyone is attracted. In other words, attraction means it's bringing out our love. Even if a dog, we love the dog, then we're attracted to it. People have a picture on their work where they're working. They have a picture of their wife. They have a picture of their children, and the biggest picture is that of their dog. Because when they come home at night, the only one who comes and greets them is their dog. And he's the only one who licks them. Gives them a big kiss. So those who we have some appreciation with, for one reason or another, we love. But if there's a person from the source of everything, then we love him the most. Because everything we find attractive in everyone else will find the most attractive in a person who's unlimitedly beautiful, unlimitedly wise, unlimitedly strong, unlimitedly renounced, and especially who has unlimited love for everyone. As we have the propensity to love others, so the Supreme must have a biggest propensity to love also. So that's what this chanting is about. It's simply an opportunity to come in contact with the Supreme within our heart, within everyone's heart, and also outside our heart, but at least within our heart, that there's a person who's guiding everyone. We call him the Super Soul. And he's guiding everyone to give us what we desire. He's not just sitting there, but he's giving us intelligence to get what we desire. And he's giving intelligence to a little ant who's crawling on the ground to get what the ant desires. The ant wants some sugar, and therefore he knows exactly where to go to get the sugar. And he's giving us the intelligence, but not so much intelligence as the ant, how to find the sugar. So that person can be known and can be experienced, but he's come in this particular time in this form of sound vibration. God is so unlimited, Krishna is so unlimited, that he can appear before us in the form of sound. And as we chant this vibration, as we learn how to chant it with some feeling, then we become more and more aware of Krishna's presence, both within our heart and the heart of everyone. In other words, when we see the same loving person in the heart of all living entities, and we see the same souls, I mean, we're different souls, everyone has their own identity, but when we see souls, everyone is a spiritual soul, and that they have the same Father, then we'll realize that we're all part of one family, one spiritual family. Then there can actually be peace in the world. But if we think with this body, we think we're black or white, we think we're Russian or American, we think we're so many different things, then we'll think that actually we have some separate interests. But when we realize that we're all spiritual beings and that we all have a relationship, a loving relationship with the same person, then everyone can actually have peace and happiness in this world, because there won't be conflicts. Just like if you drop a rock in a lake, if you drop it, then it makes circles. And if you keep on dropping the rock in the same place, all the circles are in harmony with each other, all concentric. But if you drop it in different parts of the lake, then all the circles that will form will conflict with each other. So if we all have the same center of interest, then there'll be harmony. Otherwise, it's not possible. If we know, for instance, where to water a tree, if we water the root of the tree, then the water will go to all the leaves and the branches. But if we water each one of the leaves, it won't work. So we have to know what is everyone's mutual interest, and if we serve that mutual interest, then we'll be all working in harmony with each other. So that's what this chanting is meant for, is to reveal to us our mutual interest, so we can all become part of one happy, loving family. And then there'll actually be peace in the world. Otherwise, we can elect anyone. Since I was around, a little after the dinosaurs left. So many people have come and gone promising, I'll give you heaven and earth. And that's all they gave you was a handful of earth. They did fulfill the promise. They gave you some earth, but not all of it. Not as much as they promised. So many people have come and gone promising so many different things, but nothing has really changed, at least not for the better. So unless we elevate our consciousness, unless we purify our hearts, unless we do actually find the center of mutual interest, there can't be any peace and harmony in the world. But if we do, then automatically, without any effort, without any expense, there'll actually be peace and harmony and love, and finally we'll know what the purpose of life is, which is to find that. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Which now?